dude, I sleep in tents in the dirt.
I slept on the ground in Vietnam.
Can't top that.
And here we go. So it
going
begins.
on.
It's Tuesday night. It's Tuesday night with Tony. We are live on Facebook. We have Maureen. We have Jack. We have Eric. We have Tiago. And we have Mike.
Yay.
They're all here. The whole gang is here.
If it wasn't for Mike, we wouldn't all be together.
That's true.
Absolutely right. One of the.
And who's this? Oh, I'm sorry. Who's this little guy that I beat up?
She's dead now, and
I'm dead. I'm dead.
her name is Jessie.
Oh, he keeps bringing the toy, but he won't let go of it.
Hi, Jesse.
Hello.
I'm surprised you've not been named after Billy Joel.
Billy Joel's dogs.
We are. We're live with what is known as some Retolders. Mike behind me here, he started a Facebook page dedicated to Billy Joel fans, and we'll get into that a little bit because they're all big Billy Joel fanatics. But it's really, first off, this man right here is he's a hero. He's a war hero. He's a great guy. He's what's known as Captain Jack. He is the inspiration of the song. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would that be accurate? He's the inspiration for the big popular Billy Joel tune that you all know and love. But he's an interesting guy in himself. But apart from Billy Joel, I'm just curious in the whole social media aspect and how a page like this just kind of brought a lot of people together, created a lot of friendships.
9,000, right?
We
snowballed, yeah.
Yeah, we touched upon it this morning on our radio show. Me personally, I have a lot of close friends that I've met through various Facebook pages, such as this one. Elio Pace, who I met through this page, is one of my closest friends, and excuse me, congrats to him. He's, for you guys in there in England, he just started his latest tour last night.
With David Brown?
With David Brown, who was the guitar player for Billy Joel for many years on, pretty much all the big hits. You name a Billy Joel hit, David Brown is on 90% of them. So congrats to Elio, and hope the tour is going well for you guys. So that's kind of the angle that I was going to go with this today. Just how, none of us here would know each other if it wasn't for
Mike.
pages like Mike and Mike's, in this case, Billy Joel Retold. But I want to go back a little bit. How did you discover? Mike's from Minnesota originally. He's here. He's in New York just to be on this show tonight. He came all the way in just for this. So
I didn't know Billy Joel had fans in Minnesota. There's no people in Minnesota.
I think down south. Billy, he's the one that wrote that song for Garth Brooks. How did you even discover Billy Joel in the first place?
Oh God! Well, I born in '74, so the first memory I have of Billy is kindergarten. My dad bought glass
You were in
houses.
kindergarten with Billy?
And so it had glass houses. I remember listening to that, so I knew the hits. Next thing I remembered, Innocent Man coming out, because that was the kind of music we listened to around the house, because that was music from when my dad grew up, the oldies. And that was about the same time MTV came out. And I remember just being fascinated by those videos. The longest time, Tell Her About It, Uptown Girl, those big plot, there's a whole story going through the whole thing. And so I got, I was a casual fan. I like that. I bought the greatest hits. I remember renting The Bridge from the library and making myself a copy. Just stuff like that. Then when I got to high school, I remember a girl I had a crush on. I heard her singing to herself one day, and So It Goes. And after that, I went out, got all the Billy CDs, got all the music, taught myself how to play piano so I could play Billy Joel music, and it just went from there.
And how did it work out with the girl?
Yeah, well, we were friends.
I love you like the brother.
Wasn't that good?
All right, so let's fast forward then. How did it? The page.
So,
how did what made you decide to
so
do it?
Facebook. I started getting more active on Facebook around 2010, and then in 2011 they came up with you can make a page. And, it used to be just you could have your
own profile, right?
And then they started you can make a page, and I thought it'd just be an easy way to get out. Before that, we were on email lists that you'd sign up, someone would write a message about Billy, and boom, it would go out to all the thousands of people, and you'd get that email, and then you'd interact back and forth. That's how I first bumped into you, was through that Chael had an email list. I remember that was back, it would have been like 95 when I was in college.
Yeah.
And then what I started doing was I was big on collecting recordings, bootleg recordings, stuff like that. And then I started collecting video clips off the TV, and then compiling them. And then what I started doing to try and find more stuff, I'd go on eBay. Someone would be selling a bootleg for like $100.
Yeah.
And so I'd go down, and I have sheets at home that I kept but I'd write people that bid on it. I'd write down their emails, and then after the auction was done, I'd contact them like, hey, let's do a trade for that thing you were gonna spend $100 on. And that's how I met a lot of you guys before Facebook came along. Okay. And then fast forward, I made this group. I work at a hospital where on my lunch hours I'd go down and play the piano at the hospital, playing mostly Billy and Elton. And then I wanted to find a way to just share that with people, and so I had a YouTube channel, but I wanted a place where people could watch those and then interact with the people and get to know them, and it turned out becoming friends, even from all around the world. And so I started this page, and then I called it Billy Joel Completely Retold, because the first bootleg I ever came across was called Billy Joel Retold, Volume 1. And it was half of it was outtakes and sessions from the bridge, and the lyrics were different on some of the songs. Some of the parts were played different, and then there was 52nd Street, and I fell in love with those outtakes, and so I named the group Completely Retold, just on a word plan that Retold.
So basically, a desire to share what you were collecting, and a desire to just
meet people were as crazy fanatic as I was, so I wouldn't feel so bad.
and it's, as far as I know, the most popular Billy Joel.
If you're talking about numbers,
yeah,
and it's got about just over. We passed the 8,500 member mark. Of course, we'd be way past 10,000 if I had let all the fake bot accounts and everything that try and get in.
Right.
Like if somebody tries to join and they join just in the last month or so, I'm like, it's probably fake and we don't do it. So I apologize if you tried to join. If it was a brand new account, that's why you didn't get in, because we've had issues in the past with letting the wrong people in.
and it's been fun because again, you make friends, you meet people. There's several meetups at
it's
at
come
concerts.
off of Facebook into the real world,
and
especially with Billy doing the monthly Madison Square Garden.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Eric, who attends everything,
Not
everything. He's always at the garden. Anytime there's a picture of a bunch of Retolders, there's Eric's in there.
This is the plate that a lot of people have seen, right?
Is that the one in the Yankee Stadium, or is this your second?
This is the other one. The one in Yankee Stadium. It's the same set.
That's his claim to fame. He's in you go watch the Yankee Stadium concert video. He's in the intro part. We're holding up his. It's a different license plate, but he had.
I had a set of two. One of them I got Billy's signature on in '90, a few months after Yankee Stadium, and Lib's signature on that at the same time, and Mark Rivera a few months later. And I put that plate aside, and then just let that kind of sit, and then I started going to the concerts. And I didn't want to get that plate dirty, or whatever, so I started bringing around this plate, which was blank for a while. For several years, I brought it to every concert. And then in the last run, the whole MSG run, they started, I want to get all the band members' names. I'm trying to, and I started having this around. I didn't have my other plate with me, so I started getting more signatures on this plate. And I'm proud to say today I got Howie Emerson's signature on here today, right over there, which I'm very proud of. The guy is a gentleman and a fantastic musician. thank you for having us into your home, Howie,
Yeah.
and playing a few tunes.
Impromptu
to us.
show he gave us. Go to howardemerson.com. He's got some awesome acoustic guitar CDs for
This
sale.
is dirty. You have any Windex in the paper?
Oh,
So rubbing alcohol. He was nice and
If I had a Jersey plate, I would have showed that to you.
So when did you kind of realize that your page was different from the rest, or
Oh,
more
gosh.
popular?
Well-
Like when did it?
Back when I started it, mine was the only one.
There were no Billy Joel pages of any kind.
Nope, there were no other ones. There weren't all that many group pages back then, and it was just it was neat. I was like, I could start this. I still had those sheets with the emails, and I just started aiming people. The other thing I did too on my YouTube account. This is probably where I've got most of the people. I have, my YouTube account. I've got about 800 videos of just stuff I've found from other places too, but it's all Billy or Billy related. It might be, Mike Del Judas. It might be some Mark Rivera, and I basically archive them, and then I put in the description a link to the Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
And so we got a lot. So that was how, in the beginning, a lot of people found the page.
But again, how did you? At what point did you say? I mean, was it 5,000 viewers? You're like, wow, this is really taking off.
And
here.
in that first year, what did it for me is when current and former band members started joining, and that was really a neat experience, getting to actually interact.
Which was totally out of the blue. It wasn't you contacting them or anything like that, or
no,
both.
I know Richie joined up after I must have seen it on a YouTube. I remember personally not wanting to contact them, just to go, hey, you come be on my page?
Yeah, sure.
Just stuff like that. And I know Liberty was on it for a while, but we've got some people that just couldn't let Sleeping Dogs lie.
We've got Marion Stone watching, Brian
Marion.
Festa,
Brian.
Greg
Greg DeFlippo.
Hi, Greg.
I got Marion Stone.
Sandy LaPel,
Hi,
Jeff
Sandy.
Siegel,
Jeff Siegel.
Oh, Jeff!
Queen.
Jeff from
from the Space.
Yep.
we drove past that the other day.
Nice. Maureen
is the
Smith,
Hi, Maureen.
Hi, Maureen.
Kevin Mocker,
Hi,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Now the way I got
Talking
into
his time,
the group,
Javier.
Greg wants you to know that he's lighting one up in your honor.
Oh, yes, Greg.
All right, well, let's
It's
perfect
not
segue.
4:20
Let's
PM.
let's talk to Jack. Jack is the man. Jack's a Met fan.
yes, I am.
Jack's a cool dude. So you knew the man. Tell us.
How I met Billy?
Well, tell us about the song. Are you? Oh, first off, are you all right with talking about this, or is this?
Yeah.
All right, 'cause I've never really discussed it with you. I don't know if
Let's start from the beginning.
I don't know if it's open.
I met
First the
Billy
dinosaur came.
when we were in junior high school. We were Golden Glove boxers, and we were about the same height. And John Small's not the guy that broke Billy's nose. That's bullshit. And
Wow, so who was the guy that broke Billy's nose?
Please say it was you.
I can't say who it was.
So, boxers in junior high. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Babylon,
Oh, okay.
and we were both Golden Gloves boxers. That's where he got his broken nose from.
You still got the moves?
I
We'll get to Hiko up. You can demonstrate on him.
He's too big for me. He's a heavyweight.
Ouch.
So, but can we talk about the song, or
Yes, go ahead.
So how did-
Anything you want.
where did it come from, or how did it happen?
The way the song came about, Richie McKenna, who started the Hassles,
Right.
He's in Complete Retold too. That's another
and
former band member.
Harry Weber was the keyboardist for that band,
Okay.
and he would fall asleep during shows. He would nod out.
Because he was up late doing homework?
Yes.
And Billy tried out. They tried out a few guys. Billy was number 20. Billy got the gig, and they became the #1 band in Long Island. It was the Rascals, the Hassles, the Vagrants, the Illusion, and this is bands that played on Hot Dog Beach in the Hamptons when I was a kid in early high school. Now the song in 1970, I was coming back from overseas, but in 1969, I came home on leave and they tried to get me laid before I went overseas. And the girl came up to me in the bar. They had it all planned. She was like paid for.
Who was the band?
The
or-
band,
okay.
the Hassles. And they didn't want me going overseas a virgin. That's what it was about.
Very thoughtful.
So she took off my shirt and shoes in the bar, and she grabbed me by the pants, brought me out on Deer Park Avenue, onto the island. She got on her hands and knees, took my pants down, grabbed all my clothes, and ran back in the bar. And there I was, naked on the island, couldn't get back in the bar. I had to go home with the bouncer's clothes. I went overseas a virgin, and that's where the legend began.
And he has a lot of kids in Vietnam right now.
How'd you get the bouncer's clothes? What clothes did he wear home?
He had extra clothes.
Oh. So, that's fine. I had no idea that's what the song was about.
That third verse, the bridge.
It was a club called the Grotto.
Okay.
We used to go to my house in Plainview,
Right.
Ruby Manzer's place,
Yeah.
and
You know that place.
Ruby actually did the artwork for both the Hassles albums.
Okay.
Yep.
And what happened, You Got Me Humming became a #1 hit here on the island. They went on a short tour to Ohio and a few places. None of them had ever been away from Long Island before.
Wow.
When they came back, United Artists wanted another album.
Okay.
Well, their heads were in different places. This is their first time away from home. And they went into Hour of the Wolf. And the music wasn't the same. Eventually, Billy started a band with John Small.
Right.
That music wasn't the same either.
That was like psychedelic rock.
I like that.
It was, but then you had the Vanilla Fudge and the Rascals. at
Vanilla
that time.
Fudge.
Music was changing quickly. And then when I came home in 1970 from Vietnam, they had broke up, the Hassles. Billy and John were, and I had told Richie before I left, I said, get rid of the drummer and you're gonna have a hit band. And Richie McKenna's grandson sings Captain Jack for me on a video.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
The way I got into the group was I was going through chemotherapy. I
Back then?
No,
Oh.
3 years
Oh,
ago.
the Retold.
Oh,
The
okay.
Retold group. And my kids got me a phone that can go online because I kept running out of minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then on Facebook, I started talking to some of the people that I found the Retold page. And me and Mike were talking one night, and one thing led to another, and then Kevin Mocker and me became friends. And Billy was supposed to play September 25th at the Garden on a Friday, and the Pope came.
Oh, that's right.
And that was my birthday.
The Pope came for your birthday?
Yeah.
Wow, how considerate.
Jack's our connection.
Uninvited,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Billy let him use the sound and light guys, so they moved the concert to Saturday. Well, late Friday night, Kevin calls me up and says, can you get to New York City tomorrow? I said, yeah, I think I can take the bus. And he came from Boston, and we met at Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And I got introduced at Section 109 Food Court to the Retolders. We took a picture. I dropped a bottle of cologne on the floor, and somebody laughed and said, at least we'll have the best smelling section. And that was how I became a Retolder.
And we adopted
Nice.
him, yeah.
Nice.
By the way, a shout out to all the vets. Thank
Yes.
you,
Right.
Jack, for your service.
Tim.
And Tim.
Amazing.
And Tim.
That's right, that's right.
Thank you.
Now, so were you one of Billy's vet friends that sat down and talked with him for the Good Night Saigon? Or no?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I've always wondered that.
The last time I saw Billy before September 25th was in 1972 in Puerto Rico.
Trying to lose your virginity that night too?
No, I had there was a 3-day festival in Puerto Rico, and the promoter took off with all the money. There were no planes back. Billy did a set. He did Captain Jack and Jumpin' Jack Flash, and I got home because I knew Jay Giles' band, and they were the ones that brought me home. So that's how I got home.
Otherwise, you've been left on Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been.
Wow.
That concert rocked. Billy really got
Oh,
recognition for that.
it was a good time.
And wasn't it raining and everybody was afraid of getting electrocuted?
I wasn't.
The band, Larry Russell was telling me about that.
I had some little red blotter pictures of Mr. Natural that everybody in the crowd were eating.
Announcement of Woodstock, don't eat the orange.
Yeah, don't
right,
eat the
And that's part of your history too. That you had
So after that, I lost touch with him.
right.
And I had gotten tickets to see him in Hershey Park from his mom.
Okay.
And it was my wife and me's 15th wedding anniversary, and my daughter got the chicken pox, and we couldn't go to the concert. The next time I saw him was September 26th, 3 years ago.
Wow. But now, all right. So yeah, you mentioned Jay Giles, but you also had an Elvis connection too. Yes.
I had lots of I worked for Billy Graham. When the Grateful Dead got busted and wrote the song Truckin',
Yeah.
set up like a bowling pin, the promoters hired people to go out and buy the drugs that the groups wanted and test it, make sure it wasn't laced or anything else.
You were a guinea pig.
And I was one of those guys.
Wow.
Rock bands wanted drugs?
He had the third eye surgically removed.
It was a different era. You went to the Fillmore East or West, you'd go at 6:30 at night, you wouldn't get out till 8 o'clock in the morning. 3 bands would play, and then they would just jam, and they would all show up at each other's shows.
Right.
You'd see Santana at an Airplane show, you'd see the Dead, and they would all get up on stage after the show, and they would jam till like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
It was an amazing time. It just,
Oh, I bet.
And but you actually had to test their stuff. That must have been interesting.
it was, for a 21-year-old that came back from Vietnam, it was very interesting. I was on jet planes every week, twice a week, flying between the Fillmore East and West.
Wow, that's cool. And so, but
In 71, they closed both of them.
right, yeah.
June was Fillmore East, July was the Fillmore West closed. And
Yeah.
I was at every one of those shows. And everybody that performed that week was on the stage at the finale.
No kidding.
B.B. King, Albert King, Freddie King. They did one night themselves.
Yeah.
But it was pretty amazing time in San Francisco.
The thing about the bands you must have seen then, like I immediately think of Cream. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. Before the money was the
yeah,
It
before
was,
it reopened
it was
later.
about
Yeah, it
the
wasn't.
music and
Right.
getting high. That's what it was all about.
And your connection with Eric Clapton.
That's another story.
That's another
altogether.
story.
Something we're not talking about? Or?
No.
Okay, good enough. But band testing out the stuff, you must have, any close calls or any danger? Nothing? Not a single?
Yeah, Darren O'Neill said
People
that
knew
he
better
wants to
than
know
to
how
send
you
me
can apply
something
for that
bogus.
job.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Darren O'Neill said that he wants to know how you can apply for a job like that.
Yeah, I don't know if they have jobs like that anymore, but
Be homeless in San Francisco. You'll find a job like that.
wow.
Well, so get back to the song and the name. You told me a story when I first met you a couple years ago. The Captain and the Jack came from 2 different.
Oh, yes. There was a place in Babylon called the Captain's Quarters Restaurant. And there was a place next to the grotto, the Jack in the Box. And we used to sit on milk crates in the Jack in the Box parking lot with the hash pipes. And it was just a whole different era when I came home from Vietnam. Before I went in the service, hardly anybody got high. And after Woodstock, I came back and everybody got high.
Right.
It was, don't trust anybody over 30.
Right, yeah, sure.
I've been 30 a couple of times now.
So out of those 2 locations, which ones had the stronger stuff?
Captain's Quarters was a drug that people shot.
Okay.
It was heroin.
Wow.
And then Jack in the Box.
Jack in
was
the Box
more
was where
innocent.
I had my people that worked for me. Somebody would place an order at the Jack in the Box head, and by the time they got to the window, their drugs would be inside the bag of food.
No kidding. So you had the people inside the Jack in the Box were helping
Were
you.
my friends, and
He had minions working for him.
That's wild.
so we would run out to Richie McKenna's van and in between sets, have a good time and go back in.
I mean, it makes sense. They get the munchies. They're right there at the Jack in the Box.
But it was a diner on the other
It
side.
was a
of
scam to
There
get you
you
to buy
go.
more.
There you go.
There you go, all set up, ready to rock and
Those
roll.
are good burgers at Jack in the Box.
So 1970 and 71 were a good time.
So
I finally went to college in San Francisco, and I went up Northern California to Mendocino Community College. From there, I went to UC Davis,
Great college.
and I came back. I met a girl from Stony Brook, told me she was from Amsterdam. She said, I have to go home to a funeral. She said, I'll be back by Monday. I said, how the hell are you going to be back by Monday from Amsterdam? She goes, I'm going to drive. I said, how are you going to drive to Amsterdam? She goes, where do you think Amsterdam is? I
Yeah.
said, Holland, that's where it is. And she told me it was a town upstate New York.
Oh.
My idea of upstate was New Paltz.
Right.
That's
Yes,
as far
right.
north as I had ever been.
Westchester.
That's why he was dating her. It's like Amsterdam.
So I went back to California to finish school. I came back. She was going to come spend the summer with me. And for some reason, we eloped and got married and finished school in California. When her mom died, we moved back to Amsterdam. I went back to college, but for electronics. And I got a job designing video games for Coleco.
Oh, no kidding.
That was my first job after
Wow.
college.
Naturally, drug dealer Coleco. That's just the
Yeah,
natural
that's
pecking order of things.
That's
Wow.
great.
Question, Jack. What's the Crash the Clown story?
Crash the Clown.
Kevin Marker is asking, tell Crash the Clown story.
No.
Forget it.
Hi, Kevin.
No, Kevin.
Forget it. Yeah.
Not
No,
telling
Kevin.
that one.
Okay.
All right, so moving on a little bit now. All right, since Tiag just spoke, we'll talk to him for a second. Tiag lives in Florida. Jack is it's
Originally from Long Island.
originally
Yeah,
from Long
originally.
Island, but apparently,
It's a good time.
but apparently not very experienced because he couldn't find governors today. But
That's because I'm from Suffolk.
He used to live in Utica too, right?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I never lived in Utah. I visited a lot.
Oh, you visited.
but all right, we're currently in Florida. He drove all the way up here again just to be on this show, and he's been documenting his trip. He drove from Florida. He's got a big truck with a camper, and he's got magnets and flags and topless dancers on the bed of the truck. It's just, and he's calling it Tiag's Trek, and it's you've had an interesting time.
Groupies.
Wow.
Can you give me back my underwear?
God, that's not true. I left Florida on Wednesday for break. They've just been out of it along the
yeah.
way.
Switch told you
I
right.
was looking for that path mark on Sunrise Highway. It's closed, so I'm heading north.
So, all right, you mentioned a wife. What do your wives say? Like, because you
I
guys.
only have one.
Well, yeah, but,
No.
I guess the three of you, because you guys do, especially Eric and Mike, you guys are so active when it comes to Billy Joel. Mike, you've been there, pretty much once a year for the past few
This
years?
is my fourth time
Pretty
since 2013. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Well, let Eric tell his story.
I mean, your wife comes with you a lot.
Yeah,
She does.
He does have kids.
Diana, if
so
you
there's
watch.
responsibilities.
she has. the
And it doesn't
best
come
way.
without, a little bit of, again, you're going to Billy Joel. It's like, she loves Billy Joel too. It's hard for her to come to all the shows because financially and also we have kids, babysitters at the expense and all
Sure.
that. I justify going to a lot of the shows by, fix things around the house, and if you're watching, she's gonna laugh around.
Back row.
I'm like, no, so one Thanksgiving dinner, she clogged the sink. It's 11 o'clock at night before Thanksgiving, and she had the potato skins in the sink, and I'm like, I cleaned out the P-trap in the bottom. I'm like, hey, I just saved us $150. Billy Joel concert.
That's a good
Wow.
strategy. That's a good strategy.
So,
I'm so glad I didn't send you.
But no, Diana's great. She's my rock. She supports my my habit outside of me being with her and the family. And she comes to a lot of the gigs. All the Retolders, they love her. She loves them.
Your friend Ethan too comes.
My friend Ethan, Ethan Schiffman, he's out there. He's one of my best friends. Been with me going to shows since '86. I was talking with Mike about that whole situation early when I saw him October 17th, but in '86. But anyway, you know, Ethan's been to a lot of shows with me. But anyway, I handed my wife's now the owner of my mom, rest her soul, license plate Uptown Girl. And so she comes to some of the shows, she'll wear the Uptown Girl license plate, and I'll wear my Joel Fan license plate. And
You even had t-shirts made, right?
yeah, we had some t-shirts made up, but you know, she supports it. She gives me a little bit of crap now and then, like, oh, another Billy Joel concert, but she's just being funny about it. Me coming out here was a little interesting. It's like, oh, you're going out there, you know.
Yeah, I'm going with Mike. And then she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, she's cool about it. So, you know, I'm so thankful she supports this, and, you know, nobody else in the world that would put up with it than her. So, thank you. I love you.
Oh.
Another thing, tell him what on your T-Og's trek, what's on the magnets. Let's promote Melissa's show.
Songs from the Attic on WVOA.
Melissa's been on.
Yes, Melissa
Okay.
is on.
Was
See,
it,
there's your endorsement.
Syracuse, every Sunday.
Every Sunday from 10 to 11.
Yeah.
And
87.7. Or
we
the
had
TuneIn
4
radio.
magnets. Now we have 3. So if that person's watching, there's still a bounty on you. Turn the magnet in, or I shall find you.
I will find you too.
You're screwed.
If you have the magnet, please call in and say, I saw Tion. Okay? It was stolen in South Carolina. Anyway.
So yeah, so you had magnets made up just for
And a
Melissa's
banner.
show, and a
Banners,
banner just for-
Plural.
Banners.
Coffee mugs.
Coffee mugs.
T-shirts.
Lord's
No,
52nd Street. all
yeah,
that.
T-shirts we had, and we this T-Og's trek started March 29th with the Lords in Palm Coast, Florida, and then went to Big Shot April 6th in Fort Lauderdale, and it's going to continue
Into May.
north. Following Big Shot, we saw the Lords in Pennsylvania, and then it went to. It's going to go to. New Hampshire and Massachusetts with, it's
Friday.
going to continue, yeah, Friday and Saturday.
Tomorrow
And,
night too.
I'm trying to avoid the wife question because when she sees this, I may not have one. The camper may be a permanent residence.
I won't ask you the wife question, but an open question to most of you guys. What is the? I mean, I understand wanting to see the concerts. The concerts are always fun. You hang out with people you know. You're enjoying the music. You're drinking, most likely. You're having a good time. But the what's the like
How did I get
do you love the music that much that you felt the need to drive? And I'm not knocking.
No,
I'm not,
I'll tell you.
but you
exactly.
drive, and then even for Mike, and I tease Mike all the time, and he's a good sport. But it's fascinating to me. Like Mike loves hitting all the sites where Billy Joel filmed this or where he recorded this.
Steps on Mercy Street.
Right, the Innocent Man album cover. He has to see those steps. And what is it? Tomorrow you're going to Connecticut to see the
River of Dreams, the
No, that's
bridge, and
so-
all the stuff from that video.
And so it's just like, is it just you just love the music that much?
Well,
Is it you want to see? Yeah.
The way it started for me was when I was 8 years old. I had a childhood friend who I have still to this day, and
He's invisible.
right. It's a she, and
Billy wrote a song about it. He didn't want me to die a virgin, so
I got a friend.
And we were listening to albums, and my grandmother said when she saw Piano Man, get rid of that album with that dead-looking guy on it. Right? It'll rot your brain.
Yeah,
So
I
of
got
course
the same.
we played the hell out of it, so you couldn't understand the lyrics anymore. And then he came out with another album, The Stranger. But we grew up with that, and over time I've moved to Florida, and Bernadette and I we're still friends all that time. And I thought it'd be a nice surprise 50th birthday present to fly back up and take her to the show at the Garden. And then I just recently had found out about the Retolders, and I joined the group. And everybody's texting away, and they're welcome T-Og and this, that, and the other. Everybody's down on the floor, all the way up there. Me, I can touch aircraft as they're going by because I bought my ticket, and I didn't know about how it worked. And everybody's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in section 3, something. And, so as time went on, I found out there were retolder parties and groups and people here. They were all across the country. And then I find out, I think at the time it was like just under 7,000 people, maybe 6,500. And you just, you're online. I was working nights and I would just chat and it took off. Hey, I'll go to this show. Hey, I'll go to that show. Then the Lords were doing stuff and I just met people and friendships blossomed and things progressed forward. And, I just said, hey, this would be good. Let's take it on the road. And that's what happened. And I meet people every day.
Kevin Mocker wants to know how she knows Liberty.
Okay, that's a story. Back in the 80s, I worked in a hair salon as a hair assistant called Ethan's of London. And at that time, Liberty, Doug's girlfriend at the time, Kim, would come into the salon and get their hair done.
Where is this?
It was on Main Street in Huntington.
Oh, okay.
Huntington Village.
Right.
And actually the hairdresser, Ethan, is from London. And one day, Liberty came up the stairs. Oh, he called. Liberty called the hair salon. I went over to the hairdresser, Ethan. I whispered in his ear and I said, guess who's coming up? He said, okay. And there were customers in the salon. So Liberty came up and I said, Liberty, it's Maureen. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. You're the receptionist. I said, go in the back and sit down. And I scooted him away from the customers so he wouldn't be hassled. So I knew him because I was a shampoo girl at the time and we've been friends ever since.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
And then I found out, he was coming to Schenectady. The Lords were coming to play in Schenectady on J Street.
That's where you are now?
Yeah, I live in Schenectady. So I got there 3 hours early. I was nervous because I didn't know how crowded it would be or whatever. And then I see these Lorders hanging around, had no idea who these clowns were, and I thought they were part of the band, and that's how I met Jack. And then Jack actually got introduced to Liberty to know the name and the person, and that's how it all began, and that's how I became friends with Jack. And I helped Jack out because he's a vet, and that's what I do.
Nice.
So that's my story. Sorry.
Nice. No, don't be
As
sorry.
far
Nice
as
story.
going back to the family question for me then, because I'm the oddball out here. As far as most people, oh, you're a New Yorker? Oh, Billy Joel fan. It's kind of a given. How's this kid from Minnesota so deeply associated with it? And it goes back, and this is the reason my wife is so accepting of all this stuff, is in '95, I got T-boned by a pickup in an intersection. Ended up spending a month in the hospital, about 12 hours of surgery. They didn't think I was going to make it, but while I was unconscious the first few days, my friends got in touch with his record company. Said, we've got this big fan. Can you send like an autographed picture or something to help cheer him up? And he ended up sending a big old box with about $400 in CDs and just stuff like that, swag in there. And so my local paper did a big full-page article on it, and I ended up, remember GeoCities, where you can make your own web pages? I made a GeoCities page with pictures of my accident and the whole story, and that before YouTube and before Facebook and eBay, that was how I met a lot of you fans, because people would search Billy Joel, this would pop up, and they'd contact me about my story. And 4 years after that, Billy was doing a concert in Minnesota, and so I called up I called Maritime Music, and whoever answered the phone was like, "Oh, Mike, how you doing? How's your hip?" They remembered, so I was like, "Oh, this is what I needed."
That's cool.
And I was like, I've got tickets for a concert coming up, and I would just like the opportunity to get backstage and thank him for sending that package, because that really got me through. And
that's awesome.
Yep, and so they organized it, and my wife and I got backstage, and before we met him, we went in the hospitality room. Whole band was hanging out, so we got to meet. I got to meet Mark. We got to meet David Santos, who was the bass player then, and just everybody was back there. Lib and Tommy and all those guys. And then Max took us down the hall, had us stand there, and Billy came out. We got to talk to him about 10 minutes, and just just had a good time. I had a pair of sunglasses that I took. I'm like, I'm gonna give him a gift. You know, he gave me a gift. I'm gonna give him a gift. And I said, here, I brought you some sunglasses. You know, if you play New York State of Mind, maybe you could wear them. And he grabs them. He goes, oh, are these Ray-Ban? And he looks at it, I got them from like a dollar store. And he looks at it, he goes, uh-oh, made in China, but a Chinaman. And, you know, and the best part, my wife was standing next to him, and she heard that, and she goes, oh! And so her big claim to fame is that she hit Billy Joel. We got to meet him backstage.
That's a good story.
And then to follow up to that, middle of the show, he changed the set list so they could play New York State of Mind, and he pulled out those glasses and put them on.
Aww.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
so.
And was he? Did he remember the whole story and about the accident and everything? Or no?
I don't know. I was just saying, hey, biggest fan. That was when I was and I started mumbling some in the hospital. And I get thumbs up and it just
You totally melted.
yeah. But I got it together. I said autograph my book and can I give you a hug? And so I got to give him a big hug before we left. Yeah. So.
And an interesting story.
Yeah.
Billy Joel's mother lived in Hillside, which is the end of Huntington Village.
Right. Yeah.
My mother and Billy Joel's mother would have lunch at TK Scally in Huntington Village.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a group of our friends that would meet my mother and have lunch with Billy Joel's mom.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
she was a sweetheart, I have to say.
Yeah.
She did a lot for the community in the Huntington Library. So, thumbs up to Mrs. Joel.
Oh, nice.
Eric Shevlin's watching.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Eric.
Eric.
That guy again.
I'm gonna come see you tomorrow, Eric.
Eric's very excited about having Jack on the
Yes.
radio show tomorrow.
Yes, Eric.
I'm purposely not going certain places because I know Eric's dying to go there tomorrow. So we're gonna have fun with Jack tomorrow.
Yes.
The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show on govsradio.com every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Maureen is nice enough; she's always watching and listening, sometimes calling. We have a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun at Mike's expense today.
but you did surprise me. Something I didn't know about Billy. You took me on a tour of the comedy club. Took me in the back room where I guess Billy had gotten together with the cast of Saturday Night Live and did a little impromptu 20-minute show. Richard Pryor and the SNL cast.
Right.
Aw.
77.
Richard Pryor.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yep, that was our little surprise for Mike.
Yeah.
That was nice. So, but tell me though, what is the? Because again, the concerts, it's fun, and
What's the goal of the group?
Yeah, well, not the goal of the group, but I think more for you, just you personally. What do you get out of checking out these sites? Again, I started to go into it before with the album covers. Like what?
Well, it started. I found a website by Bob Evans. It's called, and check this out because it's a really cool site. Pop Spots NYC, and this guy went researching around mostly Manhattan, trying to find locations where famous album cover pictures were taken from. And then he'd take a current picture and he would Photoshop, it was a perfect angle. He would Photoshop the album cover right on top and just kind of show you what it would look like if the album was there. And he did one for Innocent Man. We found the Mercer Street steps. Turnstiles, which is the Astor Place subway turnstiles there, and then he did one for 52nd Street where he posed with his trumpet against the building. And I was coming out here to see Larry Russell and those guys do that original Long Time, and I thought, well, I'm out here, I'll meet up with some Retolders, we'll go see these places and get my pictures. And I kind of posed like Billy on the steps, and I just did that and had a ball. Everybody in the group loved them. People started doing that. I put the addresses up so you could go do your own. And it just went from there. And just every time I come out, it gets harder and harder to find new stuff. So, but like on this trip out, we started out, we went to Pratt Institute and found where they filmed For the Longest Time.
Yep.
And so I'll be putting that video up. We went out in Bohemia, was the lady who bought Doug Stegmeyer's grand piano.
Oh, wow.
Sue Roman. That's who has it.
Fortino, yep.
Yeah,
And her son,
Fortino, yeah.
Wonderful.
Her maiden name is Roman.
her son Paul, who must be a kid prodigy. He was just fantastic.
They were on this show. They were on this.
They were telling about that. So we did a little clip on the piano, and then we went out to Patchogue and saw John. And John was saying hi earlier. Filiberto has the bike that Billy was riding in 1982 when he got hit by a lady running a red light, and he had all kinds of stuff set up, and just he was the total. Everybody I've bumped into doing these videos has been so just wonderful for me, and they've let me do my thing, and it's just been great.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Today we met up with Richie Canada. Wow. We stopped by his recording studio, and he was busy doing a session. He says, "Here, sit in, listen." And he did like 5 takes trying to get the perfect sax solo. Gave us a tour. Got to see all those gold albums up on the wall. Got to see Richie Canada play, the street sign. And then we met up with Howie Emerson, who is the guitar player on Turnstiles, and he gave us a private show and some unreleased songs that he's just finishing up. And my mind just exploded. It was great.
Well, you were asking if the differences. He does is he looks, and first I just want to say thanks for bringing everybody together and the effort that you put, because this man here, hail to the chief. Hail to the chief.
Takes a lot of work.
Well,
it's not easy. I mean,
and you guys use what I've taken, and you've made such strong friendships.
Can I add to that? So, one of the things I love, and then you were getting to, I think earlier, and Tim was talking about going to all these things and the shows and everything, and I get people asking me all the time that they're not fans, and like, you going to see Billy Joel again? You going to see The Big Shot again? You going to see Lords again? You going to see all these people again? Isn't the show the same every month? Something like that. It's like, the show's the same every month. And I'm like, it's not. It's like you don't go to a sporting event once and see the same outcome. The outcome's different. And it's not just the outcome of the playlist, and I know a lot of the songs are the same on the playlist. I love hearing new, rarities thrown in there, something from the deep tracks and whatnot. That's always great. The experience is different, and what I love, what Mike's brought to the table, because I've been probably about 80-something concerts over my fandom. He brought it to a different level. I'm now not just going to concerts by myself or with my wife or a close friend. I made a whole network of friends because of you.
Yes.
All the Retolders, especially the ones that are real close proxy, shout out to Dawn, Noreen, Andrew,
Andy Martin. Yeah. Danny Martin.
Everybody, Dennis, and getting just real personal, and the experience is just so much better by enjoying it with a lot of people that love the same thing that you love. And Mike brought that to all of us. And just our friendship is now even expanded outside of just like the Billy Joel thing. Like, Dawn, I was helping her out with her phone the other day, and a couple months ago we go to Garth Brooks.
Or if you guys have businesses too, you're sending business towards each other.
It's networking. It's finding leads. It's finding.
Just through one
We go to other concerts besides
connections.
Billy.
By the way, I taught Jack to get a new page on his Facebook. He has a new page.
See Jack Scout.
I also.
He doesn't just get one screen name.
Yes, he does. I fixed it.
What happened
I
was
fixed it.
there were a lot of Captain Jack stalkers that were
Oh, really?
coming to my house.
I thought you
We
just,
all have those.
I thought you just couldn't remember your password.
No,
No.
there was
Oh,
a
no.
reason for it.
So we had the date yesterday. I took him to my house. I said, let's fix this. Let's do it now.
Got on the computer. She
Got
did.
on the laptop, and he's looking at me like, how'd you learn all this? I taught myself, but yes, he's all fixed now.
Profile picture?
Profile picture?
Yes.
Yes.
From the
There's-
service.
Yes, I'll
My
give you the service.
Air Force Blues.
It's like,
Oh,
it's like you're a puppy. He's all fixed.
Yes, it's all fixed. But one thing about Jack Scala that you don't know, Jack, you also help vets find dogs for PTSD.
Oh.
Please tell us
Operation
about that
at
real
Ease.
That's
quick.
awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's great.
It was a flyer I found at the VA hospital. It was, the lady was starting up a program to match veterans with dogs. And I called her up, and she said, well, there's like a 2-year wait list for a puppy. And 3-4 days later, she called me up. She goes, I got the perfect dog for you. He's a year old, beautifully bred German Shepherd. and she wanted me to evaluate him because I was a dog handler in the service.
Oh, okay.
And I told her that this dog will never work with an amputee. And no, not for that reason. 'Cause
Why?
He's too wild. And I got
I
attached
thought we
to.
just weren't.
We just weren't.
We weren't worthy.
Yeah.
No.
He wasn't an amputee before he got the dog.
So while I was evaluating the dog, I got attached to him, and they take him to the vet. They take him to the groomer. They pick us up, bring us to school, and I was the first one with a dog.
Oh, nice.
Now
Nice.
there's like 40 of them.
So now what's the name of the organization?
Operation at Ease.
So please
Nice.
donate to Operation at Ease to help your vets out in any way you can. Thank you, Jack.
Very nice. All right, so let's backtrack. You had what? People were actually showing up at your house?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
How long has this been happening?
How'd they find out your house?
Was there a butt in the window?
No.
Wow, I thought it was.
I don't know what you're talking. I don't know what you're talking
We
about.
went
Did you
to a
see the video?
show
There's a shadow there in that. by
at the
way.
Mohegan Sun, and we were going to meet up with Kevin and Jane Mocker, and these two guys were writing to us on Facebook, and they were waiting to get into the show,
Okay.
and they started calling us. We want to know where you guys are going to hang out for dinner and all this stuff. The next night there was another concert at, where was that one? Mohegan Sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Mohegan Sun. And we walked into the sound check. And these guys just followed us and started getting in all the pictures we were taking. And
What? And then they followed you home? How did
no,
they find out where
he
you
got
lived?
my phone number.
Yeah.
And they drove to Albany and they called me up. They go, "We're here. We want to meet you."
Oh, jeez.
And I said, "That's it. That's all I can take. I
Wow.
don't need this."
And the last name was Gilmartin and Martins?
No.
Those guys.
Andy Gilmartin is a good friend, and they got us, me and Tiag, down to Staten Island, and we actually sat on the stage for Goodnight Saigon. And they played Captain Jack for us,
Nice.
and then Mike Del Judas played it at Mulcahy's. And that, you have to experience yourself. It's a crazy place. And whenever I go see the Lords or Mike, they play Captain Jack for me. It's pretty cool.
That's great.
That is great.
You were asking before if I can about
Yeah.
how I'm doing the traveling, Mike did the traveling, Eric's doing some traveling, but he does more of the historical things, as you said. And he just opened a window for me just in the last 2 days of stuff. Like now I want to do more stuff. Like I'm ready to go. Like after we're done here, I'm ready to get a flashlight and we'll go find some other stuff. So-
Stay away from the childhood home. Stay away from the Lucille Roberts.
And
That's
if you're
all I have
going-
to say.
Just go see my YouTube videos.
That's it.
And if you're going to shoot video at Pratt for the video for the longest time, don't shoot the bathrooms when people are
Make
in.
sure there's nobody in it. Wait till you see that one, Tony. Then you won't let me live that
Can't
one
wait
down.
to see the bathrooms.
Todd
This is
Greenstein
where Billy peed.
said that he met his wife at Mulcahy's. And then Eric Shevlin said, "Wow, I met a hooker at Mulcahy's."
When Mike Del Judas
Only Eric.
introduced me to the crowd, I got mobbed by people wanting to take selfies with me.
And also proppers that wanted drugs. That people came up to
They
him
were
and asked
asking
him,
me, "You have
yeah.
gummies, you have this,
Yeah.
you have
I
that."
couldn't believe it. Little girls that were,
Then a girl
Very-
in
very
front of
little.
us was with her father, and she turned around and she goes, "They just introduced you." She goes, "Can you get me high tonight?" Right in front of her father.
Wow.
I said, "If I got you high, they'd have to carry you out of here." So that's not going to happen.
And for the record, from what I recall, Jack's totally straight. You've been.
Clean for 24 years.
That's awesome.
Yay!
You're no longer the guinea pig.
So is Richie and the guys in the Lords.
Yeah.
Liberty,
Liberty?
30 years.
They're
they've been
all
sober.
clean.
Wow.
I'll
Very
tell you,
nice.
don't miss the traffic on Long Island. No way.
Most of the rock stars that are my age, do meetings, and it's hard for them because everybody knows their last name. Oh, he's growling at something.
There's a dog barking outside.
Yeah, all right,
the
so-
rarity show.
Yeah, we're actually almost running out of time here. The real reason that a lot of these guys are in town is because there's, especially here on Long Island and New York area, there's tons of Billy Joel related activity. Mike Del Judas, David Clark is doing a request show on May 29th at the Landmark Theater in Port Washington, where you can request any Billy Joel song, and hopefully Dave will play it. Tomorrow night, Michael Del Judas, who everybody knows, he's in Billy's band. He's does the theme song for Kevin Can Wait. He was on Kevin Can Wait last night. He's doing a Billy Joel deep cut show tomorrow at the one and only Iridium, which is one of my favorite places. Great place to see a show. So that's kind of what's happening here, and that's why everybody's in town, and all the Retolders are getting together.
It took 3 years. 3 years ago, he posted in the group, okay, if you guys show interest, I'll put up my own money, we'll get a theater, and we'll do the show.
Weekend song.
And he
We sang it last night.
And so we made a poll, and the top 20 songs, they've been rehearsing, and they're making a show out of it.
All right, quick. I'm going to point to each one of you. Tell me what song you want to hear tomorrow. Are you going? You're going tomorrow, obviously.
Yes.
What's,
Of course, Captain Jack.
No, that song. Rosalinda's Eyes.
Weekend song.
Weekend song.
Weekend song.
wow.
I think we got
Because he's singing it. He's going up on. Oh, that's not a secret anymore, right? He said it last night, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a secret. Everybody knows.
Yeah, he said it today in the radio show too, right?
But
Yeah,
a lot of
so-
the Retolders, it's actually the party before and after the shows where we get to know each other. We go
Yes.
out to eat.
Yep.
It's
And when did that start? Like, how many years ago did that start? Where you're all
Did it start with the monthly shows?
yes.
Yeah.
It's been like 3 years
Well,
now.
Because before that,
'Cause-
he didn't do all that.
Well,
many
I'm thinking the Larry Russell thing was. I mean, that was at the.
Okay.
bottom.
that was the first time we met
And that-
everyone.
yeah,
And that was like 3/4 Retolders at that show.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah,
me, that
We
was
did that, and then the next year, Lords got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Hall
We did a
of
big
Fame.
get together
a lot
there.
of us there. Yeah.
2016, I came out for the Lords at Westbury because that was
Oh, their first
They had
show
got-
back. Yeah.
yeah. So they had started up their shows there. So
Billy's band in Puerto Rico was Reese Clark as the drummer.
yep.
Right.
Love you, Reese.
It was
Yeah,
totally
he's a nice
different
man.
band.
And yeah, and even all the band members, past and present, they've been very out there. They've been accessible, and they're
Yes,
nice,
that's what
and
they-
they give us
They're
their
very
time.
down
and
They
they're
like
very
it
nice
that they
people.
haven't been forgotten
Yeah.
is a big part of it. I think
Yeah.
that they can interact with the fans. They get excited talking about the music that they played with Billy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And congratulations on your radio show.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. That's very nice. Thanks. Yeah, we're having a.
And what's the radio show again?
It is govsradio.com, the Knockin' Dead comedy radio show with Eric and Sally and me. We're having a great time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mike D and Tony are going to have a WWE bout.
Well, Mike did his show from the porch last night.
Oh,
and
that was so
He did?
funny.
and the four of us and Sally, we showed up. So that was
That was
That
funny.
was
a little unofficial coming together of Mike's show and mine. We've had that little rivalry going on.
Yeah,
where we
because you
kick
showed
each
up
other's ass.
unannounced to his show.
Yes.
He didn't have a-
No, that's
There
not
was
true.
a full moon out last night. Let's say that.
It was
Oh,
not.
Jesus, daughter's going.
It was it wasn't. It was Christina. It wasn't. It wasn't caught on the camera. But when we got to the house, Christina invited me. I don't know if Mike knew or not.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Christina invited me. That's why we came. But they went and knocked on the door, and there were windows next to the door. So I kind of went up to the window. Mike couldn't. I couldn't be seen when you opened the door. So I dropped my pants and shoved my ass right against the window. But Mike didn't see it. It wasn't caught on camera. So
I'm like, hey, something's
It
wrong with
wasn't-
your window. So he starts
then-
going around.
Did you guys hear his daughter sing Hallelujah?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
she's very good.
Yes,
it's
She's
great.
very
That was
good,
Yes.
amazing.
I missed that.
But yeah,
Well, you
but
can go
anyway.
back. You can go back and watch.
I will.
Okay, some quick announcements. Yes.
So his
Go ahead.
daughter's coming down, and he's like, oh, pull your pants back up.
Well, right, they're all yelling. The daughter's coming, so I was like, oh, I can't have. But it wasn't. It was Christina. But
Don't go wrong.
You know that's why they had to carry the dog away. He saw you.
You know, that was the
So
best.
wanted a bone.
That was the best part of that whole video. Mike is singing, forget it. The best part was Mike walks to the door. Now he's not even out. He's out of sight now. Then you see Christina walk towards the door. She's out of sight. It's all quiet, and all of a sudden there's a shot of Christina trying to carry the dog and like
Up the
dropping him
steps,
and,
yeah.
and grabbing his nuts. I mean, what the hell is going on there? Best part of the whole video. I crack up every time I watch that part. But okay, so I have some announcements, and then we have a little. We're gonna have a little fun. So yeah, Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. govsradio.com. We go live on Facebook with it too, but you can't hear the calls or the music. But we do post it on SoundCloud if you miss it.
And it's free.
It is
Yeah.
free. There you go. Just like Melissa's show, it's free. WVOA. You can every Sunday from 10 to 11, you can hear Melissa Boileau, songs from the attic. May 29th, David Clark is doing a Billy Joel request show at the Landmark Theater in Port Washington. For everybody that's watching in England, we do have our friends in England that do stay up and watch, which we appreciate very much.
In Seattle.
Elio, yeah, we have Victor's watched from
Yes.
from Russia. We get
Victor the Clown.
We
He's
get-
in Retold too.
He's
That was
awesome.
that
Yeah.
blew my mind when somebody got
He
hit.
responds so fast.
Yes,
when
he does.
he's-
So it's a worldwide audience. So if you're in England, check out Elio. He's touring. He's doing the full album of Glass Houses and full album of Innocent Man with legendary guitar player David Brown. So they'll be touring throughout May. And you can catch us, Knock 'em Dead Comedy. We are performing next Thursday at the Crown Room in Bayside. July 14th at Governor's in Levittown. We're going to pack the house once again. We're going to sell out.
And it's free. Oh,
Well, yeah, right. Yeah. All right. So, before we say goodnight, we're going to take a few more minutes. We're going to have a little fun. Since we have all the, Billy Joel experts here, it is time. We're going to test the knowledge here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to test the knowledge. We're going to do a little Billy Joel trivia. And let's see how many stuff gets
Throwing out
wrong.
the
No,
orange cards.
not New Yorker, so I shouldn't be expected.
All right. Here we go. I'm just going to pick and choose here.
See, I don't think it's weird, my fandom, but then when I'm start to do stuff like this is where I'm like, oh, gee, maybe I do obsess.
Because he gets every single one of them right.
He was 13 years old, Chuck.
All right, this one, well, it might be easy because we kind of touched upon this. What song did Billy Joel originally release with the Hassles, then released as a solo artist as a live B-side?
You got me humming?
Thank you very much.
Sam and Dave's.
Yep, great Sam. Great. Underrated Sam and Dave.
Cold Blood
That was
did
a
it
great
too.
song.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Now they did Colored Rain. Stevie
Steve
Winwood
Winwood,
wrote that
yes.
song.
Name the movie Billy Joel voices a character.
Oliver
Right.
Company.
Easy as that.
And Simply Mad About the Mouse, but that's
That was the music.
yeah, the music video.
Name the former Yankee player that Richie is currently in a band with.
Bernie Williams.
Nice, man knows his baseball. Name DVD. Name the song that Billy lets Liberty sing a verse on.
Shout.
There you go. Name. Oh, this
Wow,
is
I didn't
hard.
know that.
This is a hard one. Name the two songs Karen Carpenter recorded that were written by Russell Javers.
Ooh.
Russell Javers, guitar player for Billy Joel, currently in the Lords of 52nd
Not
Street.
familiar with Karen's work.
Rainy days and Mondays?
No,
Oh,
good guess.
Until the Night.
No, they were not Billy
I go
Joel
to
songs.
extremes.
Karen Carpenter.
Written, Karen Carpenter,
Was-
written by Russell Javers.
No
Don't know.
idea.
Ah, okay. All because of you and still in love with you.
oh.
Well, good job, Russ.
Oh, there we go.
Russell's
Steve
great. He's
Winwood
a really
first,
nice guy when we met him at the Woods.
What was the top U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart position reached by the studio version Say Goodbye to Hollywood?
Top position.
Oh,
What stuff? You
gosh.
should know that.
I don't go for numbers.
Number 21.
That's a Turnstile. Was it? It was released as a single for Turnstiles.
No,
It was.
for Turnstiles, or is that on the
No,
songs in
he
the
said
attic?
the studio version.
Studio. Well, it's a trick question. It never made the top
Because they put
100.
the live one on. What?
Oh.
It never,
Never made the
Never
top
made
100.
it.
damn, that's it!
Good question.
The songs in the attic one reached
Yep.
the Billboard, not the studio one.
Yeah, well, at least it got on the greatest hits, and then when they remastered it, they put the original back on.
Which made me mad.
The
'cause
greatest hits, they cut out the Richie's
oh, they
solo
did a lot
piano.
of radio edits. Yeah.
Sons of bitches.
All right, my congressman.
Name 4 artists who have albums out where Billy was a guest on at least one track on the album.
Cindy Lauper.
Good.
Garth Brooks.
Is it Richard Marx?
Peter Cetera's one.
Steve Winwood.
No, but where Billy guested on their album.
No,
Billy
it's
gets it on there.
yeah.
Bruce
The
Springsteen.
Just Wanna Hold. Who sings that one?
Billy
Mick.
gets on their album.
Mick
Mick Jones.
Michelob.
Mick Jones.
Mick
That's
Jones.
2.
There we go.
There's 2.
Did he say
Michelob.
yes?
Did you say Michelob?
Yes, he did.
But he is a guest on.
Garth Brooks, right?
Nope.
No, he wasn't.
No,
a
he was
guest
just
on
in
that.
Central Park. So how many we got?
I need 4. You have 2.
This time.
Disappointed.
Jack,
Disappointed.
Jack, any idea?
No.
Wait. Guest. Well, he was on the leader of the pack. He did that background there,
We'll count
Maybe.
that.
All right,
We'll
I
count
don't
that.
know,
That
maybe.
counts.
and he did the Chubby Checker commercial. I remember.
That's a
Popped in,
commercial. Yep.
Pretzels or whatever. And the
It's
twist.
Bach, man.
Bach.
All right, I'll let you
Give a
slide
hint,
with
give
that
a
one.
hint.
What was the?
All right,
Give a hint,
I'll
give a
name them
hint.
all. I'll name what I have here.
Okay.
There's Jimmy Webb,
Oh,
Okay.
Wichita, yep.
That's
Cyndi
right.
Lauper, Patty Austin, Mark Rivera,
Yes,
come
you
on,
did do Mark Rivera's
Mick
recent
Jones,
album.
Peter Anders, Bo Diddley, Elliot Murphy, Johnny Mathis, Ray Charles, Tony Bennett, Rosie O'Donnell,
Oh,
Barbara,
that's
right. He was
Barbara
the one.
Streisand, Twisted Sister, Julian Lennon.
Oh, Twisted
Twisted
Sister.
Sister?
Crew to your
And didn't you say
Crew to
Twisted
your
Sister?
school. He played piano, be crew to your school.
I thought you said Twisted Sister.
No.
What did you say?
On which one?
I thought you said Twisted
No, he
Sister.
didn't.
No.
Well, that's a D. Snyder's from Long Island, isn't
Right,
it?
Yes,
the
he
whole
is.
band, the whole band's from Long Island.
Okay.
Earl Scruggs and Julian Lennon.
That's right. He did do Julian Lennon. I remember
Which
hearing
one's
that.
that?
That's John Lennon's son.
No. Son.
It's not a popular song. It's called "You Get What You Want." That's what it's called.
Okay.
See that? Come on, Mike.
I'm learning.
Did you know Liberty did play with Paul McCartney?
That's my next question. Maureen's like seeing through the cards.
Yes!
Name the 2 songs that feature. Name the 2 Paul McCartney songs that feature Liberty DeVito on drums. I'm asking a lot of Lord's questions, not so much Billy.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
It's got to be. Is it a Wings song? I mean,
It is not.
It's Paul McCartney separate, but I
early-
don't know the...
Neither one of them
What year?
are hit
Give us
songs.
a year.
Neither one of them are hit songs. They're from the
80s.
mid '80s.
Mid '80s.
Neither one of them are hits, so you won't.
Sit on the
Unless you're a big McCartney fan. Oh, you know what?
Say,
Here's a
one
hint.
of those.
Here's a hint. Mike Del Judas sang it last night. He sang
Just
one of
half
them.
the show.
Okay. Loveliest Thing and Beautiful Night.
Beautiful night. Yeah, I was there. He did
All right. In the early '70s, as we all know, Billy did a live radio concert, which is now known as the Sigma Show. What city did this take place in?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
I mean, I'm thinking the ultrasonic one. That's it.
Oh, there you go.
That was
And it was
another
at
mark.
Shockey, and that's the
Yeah.
concert that got Columbia's attention with Captain Jack.
Pierre Robert.
Not including the Fantasies and Delusions album. Name 2 Billy Joel instrumentals.
Nocturne, Mexican Connection, Root Beer Rig.
There you go. You named all 3. Whoa. We have Beatle questions in here. All right, we'll do. I'll do 3 more, and then we'll call it a night. True or false?
False.
Thank you. The first CD ever pressed was a Billy Joel album.
52nd Street.
52nd Street. They got it. What year did Billy Joel graduate high school?
He didn't graduate.
1993.
No, honorary.
93.
He
Honorary.
never graduated.
Yes, he
He
did.
got an honorary degree.
93. 'Cause he was,
93 is around
he,
that time.
he was on News 12 saying, Mom, I finally left that nowhere job and graduated high school. Was it 93?
Close.
92.
92.
He had the black glasses on, I remember.
92.
Black glasses. Piano Lover 2006 on YouTube channel. That you can check all that stuff out.
Name the song that Billy recorded with Paul Simon and Steve Martin.
Oh, they did the Christmas thing.
Yep.
Oh, Holy Night, was it? It was after Saturday Night Live or something, and they wandered down into the recording studio, and Steve Martin just started going off on a monologue, and Billy and Paul were doing Christmas music in the background.
I just
That's
asked.
on my channel.
I just asked the title, Mike. I didn't ask for this.
And he had blue jeans and brown shoes on.
What color was the underwear?
Red socks during the storm.
So just so you know, when the Lords last played at the Space in Westbury, Sally and I did the Billy Joel trivia before the show. We, in the lounge area there, and that was one of the questions. And whoever was up, got it right. I forget who was up.
What's the question? Read it.
It was a question about
name the popular Facebook page dedicated to all things Billy Joel, and name the man who started. Man, thank you.
the man.
The man.
The man.
No longer a boy. Billy Joel completely retold. Mike Stutz. Can I keep this?
No. All right.
I'm gonna put it in my archive.
He's keeping it.
Is he really keeping it?
I'll write another
We'll
one.
write
It's
that one
okay.
again.
Oh, I suppose it's
That's what I like.
Oh yeah, if we do another Billy Joel trivia night. Jeff.
Hello.
There you go.
All right. Here we go. Last question.
I'm on live right now.
Who's that? Is that the missus?
I know. Let's ask them if they know the trivia.
What's the question?
A live version of this song became an underground hit before its actual release. It's also the song that attracted the interest of Joel's longtime publisher, Columbia Records. What song is it?
Smack the jack.
Nice. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for this week. We will see you next week. Next week we'll be back here. Our highest rated show was a few months back when George Kasubas and a bunch of the guys came over. George is coming back next week with a few other Hicksville graduates as we talk about our 30th high school reunion, which is coming up this year. So that'll be next Tuesday. It is also our last show for the summer. We'll be back at the end of August. So next week is our last show until August. Please tune in. And we thank you for watching. As always, please hit the likes, hit the hearts, please share, please tell everybody you know about the show. Tell your priest, tell your plumber, tell your brother, tell everybody. We'll see you next week on Tuesday Night with Tony.
And
Thanks, guys.
did the dog. What was
Thanks.
the dog?
Do the dog.
His thing. The dog. What was the page? Each.
Oh, the dogs, the rescue.
What's
the
the name of it?
Operation at Ease.
Operation at Ease.
1, 2, 3.
Shout out.
Operation at Ease.
Shout out to Sandy and Marianne.
Hi.
Marianne Stone's photos are awesome. Everybody check them out,
Yes.
by the way.
Both
Love
Marianne
seeing
and
those.
Sandy have been on.
Hi, George Ashley.
Good?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everyone.